before we were enemies. We were like brothers. You ready?
Always ready. Let's punch in.
What was most challenging about going into this voice and drawing inspiration from what Peter Cullen did, but not wanting to imitate it?
Well, exactly that. I was using it as a sort of inspiration and a sort of a point to land at eventually.
Autobots, roll out.
90% of the film was about, creating a new character and the sort of a youthful, brash, cocky, self-assured sort of young kid.
Hey, Darkwing.
Oh, my finger can transform. Guess which one?
And there was an enthusiasm and a sort of a wit and a banter and a sense of humor, a cheekiness. And so really exploring that was a lot of fun and then sort of using, again, sort of as he becomes Optimus Prime, leaning a little bit more into the cadence and the rhythm of what Peter has done so brilliantly.
We roll out.
What?
Louder.
Transform and roll out.
Thankfully, it was never to try and impersonate or top what he'd done. I wouldn't dare. He's just incredible.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
Transformers started as a very successful toy line, so I actually wanted to ask, is there any toy line from your childhood that you think should get this kind of treatment?
Dare you? I was an insane toy lover. Ninja Turtles is iconic. Power Rangers is iconic. G.I. Joe was iconic. Jim and the Holograms actually doesn't get enough play. Like, the Jim and the Hologram dolls were absolutely fantastic, and yes, I used to play with them, and Kimber was my favorite, I don't care, and so was Shayna, because it came with like a whole band stage, and because what was it? She played like the keytar, you know what I'm saying? And then Jim went from Jessica to Jim. Look, it was incredible.
It's time to show him we are more than meets the eye.
Can you talk about what is possible in an animated movie like this that isn't possible in live action?
The thing that got me interested about this movie is seeing Cybertron itself before it starts to die and fall apart. Knowing that Cybertron is made of metal, a metallic planet, and itself transforms, that right there is built for animation. And also just the scale. I knew that we wouldn't have the human scale to go off since humans aren't even existing in this movie. So it was like, let's make the world massive compared to the Transformers. And so doing it in animation, it allows us to exaggerate everything and really push it and just make it feel bigger than it's even possible. I was inspired to get into animation by Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That was like the one movie that made me want to become an animator. But for this film, knowing it was going to be so epic, I actually looked at like Lawrence of Arabia and Spartacus and Ten Commandments, large, huge, epic movies that are about a personal relationship. The relationship between Orion Pax and D16, seeing them as brothers that eventually become enemies, that's something we've never seen before. And that's what got me on board immediately on this film.
I appreciate you having my back.
No matter what.
I know at the panel you talked about how you and Brian did some bonding in order to build your friendship. So can you talk about what activities you did to bond?
Well, we didn't really. We were kind of just joking around. No, we'd never met before, and we were on different sides of the world. I was in Australia, and he was here, and having to record our characters, and then they would send us clips of one another's performance to go, oh, okay, he's saying it like this, and therefore I could adjust, and I need to respond this way. And so it was a lot of back and forth. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do a bonding session or a work prep trip. But now we've become great mates. If we're lucky enough to do another one, we could that could influence that performance.
The 80s toys were incredible. Oh, and do you remember, what was the other toy? It was a stuffed toy that had like My Little Monster. Like it was a purple monster that had a chain, and you took the chain off of it and you could take it with you. Teddy Ruxpin is another one that's really great. Anything that dealt with the Fraggles is really great. I'm really nerding myself right now, man. Like I'm really nerding myself.
I'm actually working on some nicknames. The one I'm floating right now is Badassatron, which is actually pronounced Badassatron.
The Bumblebee we're familiar with doesn't exactly speak, so can you talk about, for you, what was it like creating a voice?
It was not, I was prepared to do anything that Josh, the director, wanted me to do, but what was interesting was he just wanted it to sound like me. He wanted it to be my voice. It's a little bit, I'm very excitable, or the character's very excitable, so it's a little higher in my register, but for the most part, there wasn't much I had to do because this is the origin. So it can be whatever we want it to be. Everything that comes after this can help inform this, but in this case, we really tried to make it feel kind of very human, very natural, very grounded. Like hey, this is a character that sounds like Keegan.
A cave with teeth. Nothing scary about that.
I did take it from some inspiration from the original animated Transformers from the mid-'80s, because in that one, Bumblebee does talk.
Hey, watch it, Jazz!
It's before the destruction, before his voice box gets broken, and so there's a youthfulness and an energy that he has in that cartoon, and so I allowed that to inspire me. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I've been a sound effects kid for most of my life. I used to sit on family trips. I used to sit in the back of the car, like the state. I think we had a station wagon-y kind of car, and I just used to go woo 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 woo, and my mom would pull the car over because she thought we were being pulled over. You have to understand, I'm old enough to have watched a very popular movie called Police Academy, and there was a character in Police Academy who used to make sound effects. And he was like, his real name in real life was Michael Winslow, and he used to make sound effects, and he really inspired me. So I've been making sound effects for decades. Yeah.
That's amazing. So for this movie, you just took inspiration from the sounds you created all the way back then.
And in this movie, a lot of less sound effects and more like grunts and falls and efforts and stuff like that, which is also fun. I like when I'm in the voice booth to kind of physically, work out the movement so that you're not just kind of making it with your voice. I'm really doing it with my whole body, and that's always fun.
Look at the wheels! I need wheels!
So sometimes I'll just be in the booth and I'll just be running, and then that way you're not even faking it, except for when they tell me to stop. And they go, Keegan, you're shaking the music stand. And I'm like, okay, let me just do it. So they don't just go like this, but you kind of have to do it so that you're making sound while you're moving your chest cavity. And then because you can't fake it. You can't fake it, yeah.
That sounds like a workout.
It is. I actually break a sweat in the booth, so.
Wow, and you just are running for 5 minutes?
Yeah, you want that authenticity.
I still have my Teddy Ruxpin. I still have a few of my Transformers, and I still have my Ninja Turtles. Also, there was a toy, like Happy Meals back in the day used to be really dope, but there was one time that they did these Tiny Toon toys that flipped. So they were race cars, you could flip them, and one would be like Buster Bunny, and on the other side would be Babs Bunny, and then they also did the Chicken Nugget toys that you could dress up. I love toys.
If you could transform into anything, what would it be and why?
Well, I think I would want to transform into a boat. Like anybody can drive. Look, if I'm on the ground, they can just pull me around in a trailer. No big deal, right? But I'd be the only transformer I could escape by going into the water, right? I just run, then in the air, land in the water, I'm gone. What are you gonna do? I mean, maybe one of the fighter jets could catch me, but who else is gonna catch me? The car's not gonna catch me.
Exactly.
Think ahead.
Awesome!
That's what I'm talking about.
Now is the time for us to stand up together as one.